Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Saturday morning, and it's Multifamily Unplugged. Glad that you are here today, and you are in for a treat. We are going to do something a little bit different than we normally do today, but that's how we learn, right? We get a little bit of education from different parts of the industry, from different guests on the podcast, and maybe you'll pick that golden nugget up that'll just help you move your business further a little bit more. Hey, I'm Mike Morawski. I'm your bounce back coach, your multifamily investor and speaker and author. I bring to you great content on Multifamily Unplugged every week. We have a guest where you have the ability to chime in, ask a question, or send a message throughout the week, and we'll get those questions answered for you. Hope that you are enjoying your weekend and being intentional about whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's family time or you're still doing some work this weekend, or you are just taking some time off and playing. So whatever it is, I hope that whatever that is, that you are being super intentional about it, because when we are intentional and we are really clear on what we are trying to accomplish, it just helps us get there. Hey, if you're new to the show, thank the person who told you about us, and glad that you are here. Please like us, love us, subscribe to our episodes. As I mentioned, every week, something different, somebody different. So I'm glad that you're here. My guest this morning, Alex, is from Austin, Texas. He's a developer. We're going to talk about flex space and talk a little bit about the development business. So stand by, buckle up for this ride. Morning, how are you?
Good morning. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
I'm great. How's your weekend going?
It's going really good. Just hanging out. I'm just getting ready. We're breaking ground pretty soon on a project, so I'm just mentally preparing for that and building up the GC team for that. So
awesome, good for you. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about that project and what else you guys do. So, traditionally we talk to multifamily investors, but I always like to bring somebody who does something a little bit different on, because one thing I know over I've been in the business 30 years, and over that time, learning something different from somebody who does something else really can help you improve in what you're doing. And I always think that's awesome. So, hey, before the show, we were talking a little bit about the rain and the storms and that Texas had. How did you weather all that?
I enjoyed it. I didn't even know that the floods were happening. I was just watching fireworks from my house in the rain. I don't know how they're shooting fireworks out in the rain, but it was pretty cool. So
wow, that's
pretty
pretty
summer
interesting
out here in Texas for fireworks. So
I don't know that I've ever seen fireworks in the rain. So, hey, Alec. So whenever I start my show, I always ask one question, and that question is, in one word, what best describes you personally and professionally?
It's a great question. I will go with silent. I will go with silent.
Really? That's interesting. I bet I've asked that question 500 times of people, and I don't know that anybody's ever said that. Expound on that a little bit. What does that mean to you?
I am in almost any conversation the person who's going to be listening. I'm not a really big talker, honestly. I like to just listen. So,
are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Absolutely. I was just joking with one of my buddies. I could spend all day working out of my closet, and it was a great day. So, yeah.
Wow, good for you. That's interesting. And what do you when you're being silent in a conversation, are you doing that intentionally to maybe learn something, or just to read into everybody else, or is there a purpose behind that for you?
Well, it really started out with I didn't have much to say in a lot of conversations growing up, but Yeah, over time, I definitely developed more active listening techniques, and I found that the people who listen the most will make the most. I found that to be the case. So I ended up being a quality that was helpful for this particular field. So
So the people that listen the most make the most?
yeah,
You mean profit wise?
yeah, profit wise.
Well, interesting. This is going to be a pretty quiet call then, I think, for both of us, because I'm going
Yeah.
to want to hear what you have to say. So, hey, so tell us a little bit about who you are, your company, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of Land Play. I am a land developer and do land entitlement. I find good land sites, raw land sites. I entitle them, and then I build on them.
You know, it's interesting. I had a call from one of my coaching clients this week, and he's looking at a piece of land in Nevada,
Ooh.
and he was asking me about price per acre to build multifamily on it. And I said, geez, I have no idea. I don't do anything in the land space, right? What do
Yeah,
are you seeing consistency in pricing across the board for raw land, or are
yeah.
you?
That's the funny thing about land. It's very hard to price because it's the developer who can pay the most for it. That's what the land is worth. So, and sometimes the developer who can do the most with the land might not see that opportunity because it's such a niche product or niche piece of land. Like for example, industrial land goes all over the place out in Northern Virginia. That's a market that I've built in. If it's near a substation, it can go for almost 3 million an acre. If it's like the flex type of product that I want to do, you generally want to spend probably around like $4 to $9 a foot, for example, just depending on entitlements and if the location's good.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to what's highest best use for the land and how much can that person actually pay for the land.
So, do you go vertical on anything?
Yeah, yep, that's fine. Yeah, so I entitle it and then I go vertical.
You do. Okay. So you don't just resell that land, then you build on it yourself.
Yeah, that's actually a tough thing for me right now because I have a buddy of mine. He he bought this piece of land for it was a 12-acre piece. We're gonna do a retail development on it. He bought it for 400K, and now it's probably worth like 8 million. And it's like, should he just sell it or should we just build on it? Like it's hard. And I just got a deal under contract out in New Braunfels. I think I got it for like a million and a half under market. Just looking at comps in the area, somewhere in that range. We need an appraiser to actually verify that, but it's like, okay, I could make a million right now if I just sell it, or should I build on it? So that's always it's a different business model, but I like that business model. So
You know what's interesting is yesterday I had this another one of my coaching clients yesterday. I have a developer in Atlanta that I work with, and yeah, we were talking yesterday, and he had bought 20 acres of property, and when he bought it, he was under the impression that it was that 10 acres of it was was a water play, and he wasn't going to be able to build on it. So he had some people go in and start clearing the land and realize that it wasn't in a flood zone or wetlands, and that he could build on it. So, he said, hey, I could probably sell this today and make $1 million. Or if I hold it for a couple more years and we go vertical on it, we can probably make $6 to $8 million. And the simple question comes down to, well, do you need the $1 million today, or are you better off holding out for 4 or 5 years to get
yeah,
the bigger play? And I don't think he made a decision, but that the answer was really that I don't really need the million today, but the quick flip sometimes becomes more attractive than the long-term hold,
Yeah. Yep. I see that.
So,
Yeah.
hey, so tell me what's going on in Northern Virginia, because you're in Austin, Texas, but it sounds like you're doing land stuff in Northern Virginia. What's going on there? And I'm asking because I want to know if that's a market we should be looking at, right?
Oh, it's a phenomenal market. Man, it's a crazy market. What type of asset do you build? Are you mostly doing multifamily, or are you open to a lot of different things?
Yeah, we buy value add existing product, and typically below replacement cost, right? And
Yeah.
then go in and reinvent them.
For a great value add market, I'd do Richmond, Virginia. Actually, you'd find those old junky cities that are still growing for. That's the best place to do value add, and Richmond is like an old. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like one of those punk rock concerts when you go down there. A lot of street art and dilapidated buildings and rust. And I think there's a lot of deals to be made down there. I frequently talk to people who will like get a building under contract for like pennies on the dollar, and then just fill it with tenants and then flip it right there. So Richmond, Virginia is a really good spot for value add. I found this at like in markets where you can develop a value add might not be the best in the best development markets. And that's not always a perfect science, but that's just what I found. Like in Austin, it's kind of hard to find value add. But there's a lot of development opportunities. There's actually too many development opportunities. That's the issue down here. Everybody has a great opportunity, not enough capital. So it's just probably a good issue.
Yeah, it's interesting. Whenever I talk to people who are, do a lot of business and are a little bit more on the successful side, whatever city they're in, they typically don't do business in that city. They're somewhere else. Like I lived in Chicago forever and never did business in Chicago.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, I think that for some reason, we see opportunity outside of where we are.
Yeah.
Versus just our home base, right?
Yeah, that's actually really true, because I'm originally from Minnesota, and I was just so sad I was in Minnesota. I'm like, man, there's not a lot of. I mean, Minnesota's a great spot for value add. I was like, this is not a spot for development. I was so bummed. So
Minnesota's a good market for multifamily.
Is it really?
Yeah, Minnesota's been hot the last couple of years for multifamily. But so it's interesting too between the asset classes, right? Like multifamily might be really good in one market, and flex space and retail and office might not be.
Yeah.
Where it could be flipped in other markets as well.
Yep. I've noticed that pattern too. It's so interesting. It's really interesting. So I can't explain why that happens or how the development cycle happens that way, but it is very interesting.
So let's talk about flex space a little bit. When you say flex space, what do you mean by flex space?
Yeah, I guess there are a couple. I was on a podcast, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and somebody's like, "Is that where you put multifamily on top of a retail?" I'm like, "Yeah, that is actually that you could consider that flex space." Some people will market as flex space, but when most people talk about flex space, they're really talking about warehouse and office, and it's called flex space because it's very flexible. You can have it be all office, or you can have it be all warehouse. Generally, if I were to do a spec build, I'd do like 10% office and 90% warehouse build. That's kind of what most tenants need, but I can do a TI to increase that if needed.
So do you sell everything you build?
So some hold, some sell. I'm kind of focusing now on picking like a really good long-term growth market and holding as much as I can. And I've found like a few pockets in Texas that I adore. There's a spot between San Antonio and Austin on the I-35 corridor. like that whole corridor, it's about an hour drive between Austin and San Antonio. That's going to be a city in about 10 years. And it's a lot of vacant land right now. So I just see a lot of opportunity. If you can get something for, $5 a foot, I guarantee you in 10 years, it's going to be 15, $20 a foot. So
when you're talking about land cost,
land costs. Yeah.
Got it. Hey, I have a couple of buddies that are building like these garage condos,
The
man
high-end ones.
caves, and
Yeah, those
say,
are cool.
do you do any of that? So when you mentioned flex space, that was the first thing that came to mind for me was, are you
Yeah.
building this product? So is that a product you build, or?
That's a great product. I mean, that's a little bit more niche, and you have to be careful if to see if your neighbors are doing that more so than flex space. But that's a great product, especially if you condoize them and you sell them. But it's a very similar. The shell build out's the same. It seems to me the products that I've looked at that do high-end garages, they have a nicer interior build out, and then they'll have more mezzanine space, like a spot to hang out upstairs. And generally the clear height's a little bit higher on those. I don't know if that's for car lifts or how come you're doing that. And also they're fully HVAC. The whole building's HVAC. For flex space, generally you'll HVAC the office and not the warehouse. So my product is the flex space I build is more tailored towards like your blue collar type of tenant, and that's your plumber, your HVAC contractor, your electrical contractor, granite tenant, pet cremation, pet care, gyms, sometimes like a little like taco deli or something can go in there, a ghost kitchen. There's just like a lot of things that can go into flex space. There's a it's one of the cheapest type of product to build, and there's so many type of tenants that can go in there who can't quite afford retail or office space.
And what's the construction, on those? Is it all like block, or is it aluminum?
Yeah, I'm seeing that red iron is the most popular right now. It was definitely the cheapest prior to the tariffs. I'm actually going to be ordering metal buildings pretty soon, and it's going to be very interesting to see how much metal buildings went up with what the tariffs. Yeah, I see. So red iron is very popular. Tubular less so. That's another type of metal build out. I couldn't tell you the difference, but they just look different from. That's about all I know about tubular. You can do concrete, precast, or tilt up. Generally, you see those more for the bigger warehouses, but you will see them for the smaller flex space products too. You can also do a stick build. Those aren't very popular because if a truck, hits one of the sides, that could really damage your frame. And a lot of tenants don't trust that. You can also do, I have a friend of mine who's doing SIP panels right now. They're these highly pressurized plastic panels, and they're more expensive than red iron, but there's a play, since it's environmentally friendly, you can get, I believe CPACE will finance a bigger portion of it than they will finance for the metal building. And CPACE is, it's just like really awesome mezzanine debt that isn't like first or second position. It's like equity. It's like government sponsored equity. It's the best way I can describe it. So
Right. Yeah. CPACE is a good program, for sure. We do some solar on some warehouse space, and
sick. That's cool.
And then we will use CPACE lending when necessary. So
cool. I would be really interested in talking about that.
Yeah. So I have a buddy. He's been in the solar business since 2004, and has always been after. Say it again.
What a great time to get into solar.
Yeah. And he, he'd been after me to put solar on multifamily, and it just doesn't work. There's too many tenants, too many moving parts, So we started looking for single tenant, single use storage facilities like warehouse space, light industrial, small manufacturing. And we, came up with this model where if we buy between 50 and 150,000 square feet, and we go in and put solar on it, we become the power company. So we're adding extra revenue to the NOI after we buy the building and increasing the value. And so, now when we exit that building, we exit at a better cap rate, with more value. So
I found because I was looking at doing solar panels, it was really funny. The return on investment for solar without any government subsidy or depreciation or ITC credits, it's not very good. It doesn't really pay itself off from my understanding. Like, let's say you bought $1 million worth of solar panels, you'd probably profit like 3-5% depending on what market you're in. And I don't know, maybe the solar guy was talking to, like, he just knew that the government subsidies were so good it doesn't matter what they charge. But from my understanding, the play with solar was it was a huge tax write-off or a bonus depreciation, and then you also get these like ITC credits. So if you put it like in an opportunity zone, you'll get, like, let's say you spend $1 million on solar panels, you get around $400K in ITC credits, for example, and then you can sell them on the market, let's say for $360 or something like that. So you just made a lot of your money there. And then it sounds like with CPACE, can you like fully fund those solar panels, or do they just come in for like 30% of it, or
up to 95%?
Holy cow! So now, yeah, for your listeners, that's essentially like getting a big like coupon from the government, and it's like it's a huge coupon for the government, and then it's like essentially no down payment for the solar panels. And then, you get a little bit of revenue too. So it increases your cap rate. So I see that being a great.
Well, the big thing too is you mentioned it, the ITC credits, there's big dollars there, right? And there's platforms you can go sell those on the open market, because there's plenty of investors or hedge funds that are looking for those tax credits and the ability.
That's wild.
So we're doing a deal right now where we packaged, I think, I don't know, $400 and some $1,000 in ITC credits, and we're selling them off for about 75 cents on the dollar, which is money that we can bring into the capital stack and helps pay the preferred return along the way.
Gotcha. So like, let's say you had 400K of ITC credits, you could sell them for like 280. That's what you're saying?
Right.
Okay. That's pretty good. I thought it was close to 90%. Well, I don't know anything about it, but that's good to know. So.
Yeah, and then if you take that cash and you add it back into the capital stack, and it gives you that the ability to pay a strong preferred along the way.
That's incredible. And do you only do it on opportunity zone properties, or will you do it on any property?
We haven't done it on opportunity zone properties, only, on properties not in opportunity zones. But now with, the big, beautiful bill that just got passed, right? We're bringing back bonus depreciation and opportunity zone investing for indefinite time. Now could be the time to be looking at those opportunities. But, there's only 5 states in the country that really provide strong tax incentives to be able to do that, to be able to do this model. And so it's not something that works in every market. So
the ITC credits don't work in every market, you're saying?
No, the solar incentives outside, outside the ITC, there's other solar incentives.
Interesting.
And one of the questions people ask lately is, has this tax bill now affected us? And it really hasn't. It's affected more the residential market than it has the commercial market. So
interesting.
Yeah, it is.
That for an hour. That's so.
I know, right. And my buddy, a longtime friend, is my partner, and he's in the solar business, and he's just really, he brings a lot of value to the partnership from that aspect of the green energy and the renewable energy and that. So, hey, I want to circle back on flex space for a minute, because I think I alluded to, I know somebody building this product in northern Wisconsin, and they're building it with higher garages, and it's a frame built building, and brick veneer, what they're doing though is he's building like 4,000 square feet for like 150,000 and selling 2,000 square feet for 150. So he's really doubling his
Interesting.
investment dollars. And
I was going to do the math. That's interesting.
and these are people that are car buffs. They're people who have boats to store, small contractors, HVAC contractors, plumbing contractors. And then, but he just sold one of these to a guy who wanted to put an indoor pickleball court in.
Yeah,
And
those are blowing up.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, but
Those are blowing up.
yeah, there's some really interesting models out there. And what I want people to understand this morning is that, it's not just multifamily, it's not just single family or office, but there are multiple opportunities in the real estate space, and pick what you have a passion about. Go do something, whether it's development or you're buying to hold. It's it's all how do you want to play the game, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, how about is everything you do you guys self-fund, or are you raising capital, private investors?
I'm doing my first 506c for the new Braunfels deal. That'll be around 120,000 feet of flex space. I'm doing the first two phases with the 506c syndication, and then I'll probably do phase 3 and 4 with another syndication. But I wanted to give investors, hey, hey, we can get you 22. We're going to target 22% IRR, 12% pref, and we're going to get your money back in 24 months. I really wanted to give them like a short, quick, nice product. And if they want to invest in longer, there'll be more phases for the next 3 and 4 phases. But yeah.
So you're getting your investors to a 22 IRR, and you're paying a 12% pref along the way.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a cash flow pref. It's going to be whenever the building's cash flow, that's when I can start giving out distributions.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So
that's what they're guaranteed before the waterfall starts, essentially. So
got it. Interesting. Well, how have you found it raising capital these days?
It's a little harder right now, from my understanding, but we haven't had a lot of issues with that. So our Hutto deal is fully funded, which is awesome. That's the retail medical office development. And then the New Braunfels deal, that's open to family friends right now. And I think we have around like 400K committed or in. And then we have another guy who he said he's going to give another like 400K. But pretty soon we're going to close that up and open it to like family offices. And that's what our PPM is tailored for. And by the way, if you're an investor and somebody says their PPM is tailored for a family office, that's a really good thing. That just means that it's written for the most sophisticated type of investor, and you're going to get a good return, be protected. It doesn't mean that it's corporate and you're going to get a low return. That's a good thing. So
what kind of debt financing are you finding on new construction right now on products you've built?
That's a great question and it's a spec. Well, I will actually be able to pre-lease these flex buildings because by the way, we're going to go on a tangent right now. So flex space, like you mentioned, there's a lot of like different niches you can do. You can do the high-end car garages, you can do pickleball courts, you can do the HVAC plumber. I'm seeing that the best play right now for flex space is to do what's called retail flex and have outdoor storage. And that's building flex space on a major road that should be a retail site. And the site might not have enough sewer, or for whatever reason, it's just not retail quite yet. But your flex space tenant will pay like $3 a foot more just to have that visibility. And then you put outdoor storage on it. Nobody in town is building outdoor storage with flex space. So it just makes it a very unique product that nobody has, that everybody wants. But yeah, that's the type of product that I'm focusing on for flex space. That is going to be very easy to pre-lease. If I was building like traditional, 2,000, 4,000 square foot bays out in an industrial park. That would be a little bit harder to do in Austin. That's probably doable in Dallas or some other markets where it's harder to find land. But in Austin, where there's a lot of land, it's a little bit harder to do that right now, because that product, I think, is in the process of being built up pretty well. So,
yeah, interesting. Well, good. Well, listen, I appreciate you being here this morning. We're kind of winding down here. What advice would you give a new investor today?
Man, this is going to be the most boring advice ever, and sound lame, but this is what actually will make you successful. You got to pick something. Like if you're going to do development, flex space in this area in Dallas, Fort Worth, for example, or I'm going to do retail value add in this market. Like, just pick one thing, one market, and be the best at it in your whole market, and money will flow to you. And the second that somebody shows you a better opportunity, like, hey, you can be doing this, you got to say no to that person. You got to be like, my $1 million, $2 million opportunity year, I'm sick in this. I'm going to say, I don't want to do that 5 million. Because if you keep switching, that's where you don't make it in the long run. So just get really good at what you do and scale it from there. So.
That's brilliant. I met a guy one night. I spoke at an event in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and this was last year. And a guy, older gentleman, late 70s. And he said, the biggest mistake I ever made in real estate was I didn't stay focused on one product class.
Yeah, that's been mine. So.
Yeah, I think that was a brilliant comment. Well, listen, thanks for being here this morning. Tell people how they get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah, you can Google land-play.com if you're interested in investing. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, just Google Alec McElhinny or land play. I'll come up. I'm only on LinkedIn. I don't go on social media. So
good for you.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish since I got a team, I'm less distracted. So that's good though. Yeah. All right, Alec, thanks for being here. I'm going to move you to the back room for a minute. I'm going to say goodbye.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hang on. Stand by. Hey, everybody. That was a great show. Something a little bit different, right? So instead of our traditional multifamily, how do we do multifamily? This was a little bit different from the development aspect, and, different products that you could build, how to use land, how to, manage going vertical on that land or just flipping the land. So a lot of good nuggets and insight into this morning. So, you have any more questions, you can reach out to Alec. He'll be able to walk you through some of that, and maybe there's some opportunity there for you. But remember, we're here every Saturday morning. Also, just as a reminder, coming up October 16th and 17th, my 6th annual multifamily virtual summit. 2 days, 20 speakers and panelists will be walking you through the entire multifamily process, an event you're not going to want to miss this year. Some big headliners this year and a lot of mindset and encouragement about where we're at in the market and how to stay focused. Have a great week, everybody. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out.